I'll tell them. Hello, Julie.
Hello, Tina. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, but I keep dropping off already, so we might have trouble today.
Yeah, so no one's joined yet. So just letting everyone aware as we're, starting this broadcast. Yeah, there's been technical difficulties before we even started.
Excuse
Oh my
us.
gosh. So
We are
yeah, so
experiencing technical
so we're
difficulties.
going to try to do our best, and of course, this show may not be quite the hour because of that. So just be aware. We're going to do our best. And if the viewers, if you notice anything up with the audio or visual, just pop a note in the chat room, and
Yes.
we'll try our best to fix it. I mean, yeah. So anyway,
Yes,
so
but
welcome.
happy Monday, everybody. Happy March tomorrow. And we're going to uplift these energies.
Yeah, I know so much is going on, eh?
So much. Oh my
So
God,
much.
right?
It's, yeah. I feel very emotional just tuning into it. Like, yeah, I just feel like everyone's done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the stress and the tension of world war. So let's send all of our peace and
Yeah.
healing energies to Ukraine and even to Russia. Let's just bring
Yes,
peace. Doesn't matter what the problem is. Let's just send them peace and
that's
love
right.
and end this as quick as possible.
I love that you said to Russia too, because I've been
Yes.
noticing a lot of people are saying pray for Ukraine, and like that's great. Yes, we should, like, yes, pray for Ukraine, but also we need to pray for Russia because it'll
Absolutely.
help,
It will.
right?
It'll
So it's like,
ease.
so
Yeah.
like let's pray for peace for all.
Yes. Peace for all.
Yeah, because it would be so nice, it like they just march on out of there, right? They as soon as,
Absolutely.
right, yeah. So
Give
let's
up.
pray.
Throw up the white flag.
That's right.
All.
Yeah, yeah. We made a mistake. So
Yes.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah. So
I have to
anyways.
say hello to my friend Sherry is here. And
Oh
Karen, I see you, and Eleanor. Hello, everyone. Sherry has been bombarding me with pictures from our past. You know, I talk about the seven sisters all the time, my group of seven growing
yeah.
up. Oh my God, it was so fun seeing us all as little kids almost.
Oh, oh, that's wonderful. Well,
It was
welcome.
so fun. Yeah.
Well, welcome. Yes. So welcome everyone here that are watching. Today's show is about March, the energy forecast for the collective, for everyone. So just to be clear, those who are joining, this is not about personal readings. It's
Right.
about messages that we pick up on according to numerology, the tarot, the spirit animal, and any other messages like Julie and I pick up on, from our psychic perceptions for everyone
Yeah.
that's living on this planet. So, Karen, thank you for your comment. But yeah, we're
Happy
addressing
birthday,
everyone.
Karen. This is going to
Mhm.
be it for you. You've made some big changes lately, I know, from the chat room. And so I'm so proud of you. You are
Mhm.
doing wonderful and keep going with that. And happy birthday to you.
Yeah, happy birthday. I misread her message. Yeah. So
Yeah.
happy birthday, Karen. Thanks for sharing that. Double three.
Right. You got
Yeah,
this.
March.
Yeah.
Yeah, March. March 3rd, I should say March, like March
Yeah.
3rd. 3-3. Oh, don't mind me. I'm a little loopy today.
Me too. It's okay. We'll be
Yeah.
loopy together.
Yes, yes. So just inviting those, if you want to participate, yeah, we welcome your comments. If you have questions about what we have to share or what we say, please feel free to add those. Yeah, we just want you to be part of this conversation, even though we don't hear you, we hear you. So,
We feel you.
mhm,
We really do too. We
yeah,
really do feel you and where you're at right now, and
yeah,
that's what we're trying to tune into is where we're at, and then uplift, right, and then to go
mhm,
further with that and
yes,
to help the collective, because March is a kind of a power month, right? So we're all
mhm,
kind of collecting our power that we've accumulated over these really, really tough years. And so now, instead of being reserved and holding back our truths, fear of judgment, things like that, we're starting to really find our voices again. And we're
mhm,
connecting to our past. Like for Sherry to send me those photos this morning, it was very fitting because we're connecting to our past and where we were going in our lives, what we were wishing for and hoping for, and who was our support system. And so all these memories, I think as a collective, are really helping us to power up now. Now it's the time to
Yes.
power up, right?
Yes. Yes. And I mean, yeah, like yeah, you brought up great terms like the past and memories, because it's a number 9 month, and those are a couple of the traits of the number 9 energy. It has to do with our history, our
That's right.
past, our memories, things circling back to us, things that, because we want to reminisce, we want to reflect.
Yeah.
So that's where all that power is. And sometimes it can be bittersweet, like, because, we might be longing for times that have passed, like,
Right.
oh, like, in the 70s, things seemed to be so much easier, right? Or, if the world wasn't so complicated or whatever. But then it could also be where it can be healing in the sense of like, look how far we've come. Look what we've accomplished. Look what we've healed. Look what we know. We're wiser, hopefully.
Yes, I hope
For,
so.
yeah, I hope so too. Oh my
Time will
gosh.
tell.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, so we are connecting back to memories
yeah.
and gathering that strength that we kind of lost our footing a little bit for a while,
Mm-hmm,
humanity itself, right? And
mm-hmm.
so now we're trying to get those voices back, and but not so much with our points and not so much with what we believe and that kind of stuff, but to come together to unite us now in what we have in common. Now we can build on our strengths now that we've had this big revelation. Almost, it was almost a tower
Yeah,
moments for years now, not just recently. So
yeah,
now it's time to move into that fool energy. Now it's time to take that leap of faith and come together.
yeah. Yeah. So where should we start? Should we start with the numbers, the tarot, the spirit animal? Where would you like to begin?
Let's start with the numbers.
Okay. So again, it's a number 9 month. And let's see, I've got my list of themes, because I mean, it means there's a lot of traits to the numbers, but it's like I try to hone in what comes through the strongest. So the things that you brought up, like memories and our past, yeah, those are themes for the month. But also, I got like realizations. It's as if, we will realize or come to realize some things about ourselves, but also, as a population or as a world, right?
Yeah.
And that can be unsettling.
Yes. Very.
Yeah. And because I can see, like, and like that's the main word that I see, because it all connects to other themes, like, so it's like, okay, what comes to the surface, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I just realized this. And it's I just, and it's part of our healing, because this is a healing month as well.
Yeah.
And we're facing the darker side of life, or our darker selves, and realization, like, a lot of times that's where it's unsettling at first, because it's like, I just realized this, right? And it's like, oh my god, like, I don't know how to explain that. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
I do. There's these little mini awakenings that we're having
Yeah.
as we go along. Truths being revealed, and big
Yeah.
truths too, major arcana type
Hmm.
truths that are being revealed. And so we're processing a lot of things. We're dismantling a lot of our beliefs. Our foundations that we really have lived with our entire lives are kind of dismantling.
Hmm.
So it's rebuild time, and that is a process that takes time. So go easy on yourself if you're feeling shaky, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling
Yeah.
depressed, if you're feeling hopeless.
Hmm.
Just know that that is a collective energy, right?
Yeah.
And especially with Russia and Ukraine and these other countries now joining one side or the
Yeah.
other. So now we're picking sides again, and that feels
Yeah.
very unnerving.
Yeah.
So hang
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've read some posts, like, people like that are over there, like in the Ukraine, Russia, especially along the border, because they're meshed in both cultures. So they might be part Russian, part
That's
Ukrainian,
right.
right? Or
That's
like,
right.
connections to both countries. And it's like, there's a realization like, this isn't, who is this war for? Like, who's this
Yeah.
benefiting? It's not for them, and they don't want this either side,
No, these
right?
are
So it's like,
people. Yeah.
yeah,
Don't
so that's
forget.
why when
Yeah.
you said like, oh, Russia needs our prayers too, it's like, yeah, they do, because like these people are like, they're innocent,
They are. They're
right? Like
all
they
innocent.
they
This
did
is a
not call on
political
this. Yeah,
battle. Yeah.
this is about the leaders and whatever else, however you want to define it, right? But it's
Yeah.
not about, those living in the country,
That's
like
right.
that they're innocent. So,
That's right.
that's quite the
Absolutely.
realization. Because in
It
the
is.
past wars, it was like always about, you're the bad guy, you're the good guy. Like, or we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. And it's like, you know what? It's not the people themselves. And yeah, so
Right. Right.
mhm.
Bring humanity now. Bring the humanity into it of war.
Yeah,
War is never the answer, ever.
yeah,
There's always diplomacy. Diplomacy does come from war. I'll give them
yeah,
that. We will find diplomacy here because that's the
yeah,
extremities. So,
yeah,
but it will come, but it's a scary path, right? Because you just don't
yeah.
know. And it amps up and amps up. And so we're all just so on edge. And after this big pandemic, it's just really,
I know.
right?
I know. And I think that could be like the realization for some people. It's like, people, I think on the whole, like we're trying to do our best
Yeah,
to make a life to live. And then
that's
it's
right.
like the realization, it's like, so these people in power just keep screwing that up.
Exactly right.
Right?
Worldwide, right?
Yeah,
Worldwide.
like I'm tired of it. Like, I have no confidence in any of the leaders. I don't care what side they're on.
Right. Me either. I know.
And that's a realization for me, like,
Yeah.
they're saying, oh, we're going to sanction this and we're going to stop them from doing this. Like, who benefits from that?
The people suffer. It's only the
Yeah,
people that
that's
suffer from
right.
sanctions. That's right.
That's right. Yeah, it's not going to stop the war. It's not going to
No.
really, like, what's it really doing? So I just feel like, there's that realization. It's like, okay, and it won't help. Like, there has to be a different way of, I don't know how you would stop it, but there has to be a different way, because these sanctions aren't going to help,
No.
or
No.
prevent him from furthering his cause.
No.
Right?
It's
So,
just
yeah,
angering. Yeah. It
yeah,
is. It's very frustrating. So if we just keep sending peace, sending love, remembering that these are people, these are human
mm,
beings, go to the
yeah,
humanity of it and
yeah,
take away the politics of it, and we'll have some more compassion for all, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Russians included. Russians are just people going to work, trying to feed their families. They're
Hmm.
people. They're
Yeah,
people. They are not the enemy. People are never the enemy. So
yeah,
keep that in mind.
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right.
Right. We'll
Yeah.
get through it though. We will. We just have to stay on the higher road with it and not get caught up into the frenzy of it.
Yeah, exactly. I know, and it's not easy. So it's because 9 is not an easy energy to be
No,
in. It's not.
it's a
So
horrible energy to be in.
yeah, yeah, it
I mean,
is.
it's a beautiful energy because it's an ending.
Yeah.
And we have been suffering. We have, as a collective,
Hmm.
we've been suffering and we've been hopeful and trying and compassionate. We've been trying to keep that
Yeah.
energy going, and that
Yeah.
will build. But there's been so much resistance and so much power struggling going on
Yeah.
that it's time for us to just let go of the reins now. We cannot control this, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Is we have no control over this. So all we can do is keep sending energy, which energy does change things,
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. I know. Yeah.
the law
Right.
of attraction. So you get
Yeah.
through your nines, and nines lead to ones where you're standing on your own 2 feet and you know what you're fighting for in a 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So it's like, yeah. So 9 is about endings and what comes to a completion, what we have to let go of. And that could be a realization. It's like, I have to let go of, you know, whatever, like, let's say having no confidence in the political system. I have to let that go.
Right.
Because how is that helping me right now?
That's
It's
right.
not. I'm suffering because of it, or it's
Yeah.
upsetting to me. So it's like, okay, so what can I do then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just
Yes.
like, okay, there we go.
So yeah. So we'll get through this 9. We'll be okay.
Yeah, together. Okay.
Yes.
Advantages. That's that's an interesting theme, eh? Because it's not about comparing it, although you can look at it that way, because it's like, oh, again, like if we're looking at the state of the world, it's like, okay, so you and I have the advantage, and like a lot of us here today, of living in a country where we're not part of this war, like we're not over there, right? So
That's
that's
right.
an advantage, right?
That's right.
Sometimes, I mean, so I think like, it can be positive in the sense of like, okay, when you are feeling down in the dumps, or if you're feeling stuck, challenged, if you're, struggling through your day, it's like, okay, what's what advantages do I have in my life right now?
Yeah.
What's working it's about what's working in your favor, what's going well.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can get you out of your funk, and sometimes that can give you that little push to like, okay, to just, shake that mood off, or to do something that's positive, and to be grateful. So it can lead to all that, right?
For sure. Be grateful and appreciative of what you
Hmm.
have too. We take so much for granted. Just people in
Yeah,
general do. So,
yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah, absolutely be grateful and appreciative.
yeah.
And acceptance too is a big theme coming into is acceptance of all,
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I mean, it could also be too, like, where, let's say someone presents an opportunity or extend a helping hand, and that could be an advantage to you, right? Just to get over that hump until, you figure things out, or until you move through, again, something that is challenging, or, painful. So that's another way advantages
That's right.
can work out. Yeah.
Yes. In the
Uh-huh.
end, everything will be okay. So if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And then
We'll be
that's the
okay.
other thing too. It's like, you know, because the 9 is about what's past. It could be like, um, especially when we go through something like in the present, it's like sometimes we don't always see the good in it in this moment, right?
Yeah,
Um,
rarely. Yeah,
yeah, so it could be like after we go through something, it's like, oh, that was, what an advantage that happened after all, right? Or it was
absolutely.
to my advantage that did not work out, right? That's another way of looking at that theme.
Yes.
So it can be positive in that sense too.
And remembering everything is for purpose. That's
Hmm.
why we look back and we say, oh, that's why that happened when that
Yeah.
happened. Or if that hadn't happened, this would never happen. It's all
Hmm.
for purpose. We are all learning so much right now. The world really is kind of awakening to different to the energies of the world. They are
Yeah.
kind of being more aware of that, and that we're not just so self-important, right? So we're
Yeah.
reaching out more into others, and into their energy fields. We've really had to pull back for a little while here, and so we're so used to being reserved now that it is time to kind of step up and use your voice again now, for the good, for the good
Hmm.
of the world, for the good of the planet and Mother Earth. And voices are vibrations, they are energy, and so they matter. Words matter, like we said how
Hmm.
long ago. So be very, very mindful of the words that you are using. Make sure they're soothing, and not accusatory, or not offensive in that way, because then everybody shuts down, and that's how we've been in the past. So now it's time to use our voices in a different way, use that energy in a different way, and
Hmm.
try to start soothing, and turning the collective down a better way, right? A better way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because this is like, yeah, because the nine energy is about everybody. It's,
Right.
yeah, the nine represents the population, the universe, actually.
Yeah. The whole,
So,
yeah,
so it'll be
does.
interesting. Yeah.
It will be very interesting to
Yeah.
see what happens here, right?
Yeah. Especially what comes to an end
Yes.
with systems or with certain, I don't
Yeah.
know, situations. Yeah. Because it,
Institutions will are feeling it too,
yeah.
those institutional values even that we've all had are kind
Yeah.
of crumbling away. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, yeah. And it's interesting because it's like, I can see how some organizations, and that I'm going to include governments too, it's like they're really trying to hold on to their power, and they're really trying to hold on, um, to these ideals that it's like the people are pushing back. It's like, you know what? No, this, something's not right. Like, this isn't to our advantage. Like, whose advantage is this for? Like, yours? Because you're not serving us, right? You're not helping us. And I think that's what we're seeing playing out. And yeah, with
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Disadvantage.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
a
And
realization.
inequality, we've been playing out inequality for a decade now. And
Yeah,
what does that mean? It really got into a heightened fevered pitch with greed and money.
yeah,
The 1% holds 90% of the world's monetary money now, and so that's just such a big crevasse. Right now we're seeing the inequality in front of our eyes, and it's
yeah,
like, well, wait a minute,
yeah,
what makes you so special? Why do you get to not worry about how to feed your family and working
yeah,
two jobs, and why is that fair? So
yeah,
it's really blatant now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think just also too, like the realization of, um, sometimes we do everything right, but it's still a struggle.
Still not enough.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
like, okay, so, um, some of these like really, rich people, like, what are they doing to actually make the world a better place?
that's right.
And are they really making the world a better place? And that could be a realization for some people. It's
Yeah,
like they're just like working for their own advantage. Like, they're not actually helping
no,
the
right.
world. Like, right, yeah. And it's like, do they really need $50 trillion, or I don't know what
I
it
know,
is that they,
whatever. It's
right?
so
Like,
astronomical, you can't even wrap your brain around it,
no,
right?
nope, nope. And it's like,
Ridiculous. Yeah,
what's the harm in sharing the wealth?
yeah.
Or what's the harm, but I don't know, like, are they going to come to any realizations of that? And
Well,
I think as a population, I think we are,
I
we,
think so. I think it's
yeah,
coming to light now. We've
yeah,
spent, if you look at even just medical things, we have spent trillions of dollars on erectile dysfunction instead of cancer. And you know what I
mm,
mean? Like,
yeah,
it was so warped. It was so warped. It was so shallow in how you are seen in this world, and what is wanted and unwanted, right? It
yeah,
just became so apparent. So which I'm glad, because the light is on it now. The light is there, and we're seeing the inhumanity part of it. We're seeing that how much for your life in the US. You go into the hospital and it's a negotiation. How much for your life? How much can you spend
yeah,
here? And that dictates how much medical treatment you can receive.
yeah,
Medical treatment,
yeah,
and in the hospital, it's just become so appalling to me. It's just become so disturbing that I have to kind of disconnect from it, especially with my dad and seeing the money that
mm,
goes into cancer treatments, the money that devastates people, the money that people are homeless right now in the state of California for the majority because of health problems
yeah,
that they couldn't afford. What kind of world have we become here? What is
yeah,
this? I'm
hmm,
just, I'm so shocked. And that's a big
Yeah.
truth for me is
Yeah.
human life has just fallen down the ladder from money. It's just
I
money
know.
first, human life, almost third and fourth at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
I know. I know. I know. And
crazy.
that's quite the realization, isn't it? Oh,
It's crazy.
it's depressing. See, that's
I
one of the
know. I
energies
won't
of the
talk about it anymore.
night.
I see Malik here. Hello. I see your show too. She has a beautiful Facebook show with readers and things like this on this Angel Network thing. So
Mm,
we're winning. We are. At least we can see it now. How do you fight something you don't know is happening? You don't see. You know.
yeah.
I used to think, well, if I end up in the hospital, I'll just file bankruptcy. But they won't even treat you now. It's just really apparent. So, but once we know where the problems are, then we can fix it. If we don't know, then we
Mm,
feel so useless in the matter. But now we know, and
yeah.
now things can be fixed because we know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope this is, yeah, I hope this is a realization that, or we see the advantages in helping one another out
yeah,
and
for sure.
sharing. Yes. Because before
Yes,
that, it's like, no, each man for yourself,
yeah,
dog eat dog world. And it's like, that's not, that's not working anymore. That's right. That's not how it's
no,
supposed to be.
done with
Okay.
this.
All
Yes,
right. Yes.
I see Natasha. I think it's pronounced from South Africa.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Yes. Welcome. I
Yeah.
hope you're enjoying this show. And then I just want to acknowledge A.V. Morgan. Thank you for being here,
Yes,
sweetheart.
Avi. Thank you.
But this isn't about personal readings. We're sharing messages for the collective because it's for the month of March.
So come back or let us know how you're feeling about March.
Yeah. Do I want to
I
be
want to
in?
hear,
Do I want March to arrive?
right?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
Yes,
it's interesting. It's like, that's all examples of light and dark, because light and dark is also
it's true.
a theme for this month. So, yeah, it's like, going through the dark and facing the darker side so that we can see the light, and it's like the light is there at the end of the tunnel, but it's like when and how. And
Yeah.
so it's a process. And yeah, it's, it's to
Boy, I hear you, Christina. I'm with you.
the three
Yeah.
bills don't pass.
I don't know much about it, but I've heard of these, what she's talking about, but I don't know enough to go into it really.
I
But
don't know anything about that.
yeah,
I'm
just
not
heard a lot of people saying this. Yeah.
familiar.
Tell us about it,
Uh-oh.
Christina.
Yeah. Yeah, please enlighten us, Chris, because I don't watch the news, and I've had a hard time this past week. It's been emotional this past week for me. It's just everything I've been feeling has been really intense. So
Yeah.
I've had to really step back from a lot of things,
Yeah.
myself, because it's like I've had to do a lot of self-care.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Malik,
you're in a 9 year. Yeah, Malik is
yeah,
he's
and
the
I'm in
same
a
thing for
nine
being a
year.
reader. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
in a 9 year. So I really feel it, and I'm dealing with endings and the darker side of things.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so maybe we'll just leave like the three bills don't pass. I'll have to look at it after, because I don't know
Yeah.
if
I'm
I
going to
want to
find out
bring.
more about it before I say anything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I can't speak to it because I don't know what
Yeah.
that's all about. It
Right.
doesn't sound good. Oh no.
I think it will be good. From what I'm hearing, I think it would be good, but we'll see. I don't know enough about it. Like I said, you know me. I like to only talk about what I know about because then I just end up looking like an idiot.
Oh, Christina, she's sharing C10, C11, C. Yeah, see, so I'll
That
have to
helps
look
me
it up.
not,
Yeah,
Christina.
because I don't know what they're encompassing. Oh,
I'll
see, I
Google it though.
just, yeah, I will. Yeah, see that probably, like, I just have no confidence in the government, because it's like they're not. Oh wow, there's a lot. I just, yeah, I just get really worked up when I
Yeah.
think about the government, and try to read about it's like I'm just like I'm done with them.
Yeah.
I
I
just
I know exactly what you're saying. I really do. I'm so done with the government here too. But
Yeah.
right now, it's our only resource. We can only vote for what we want. And so if you're looking into these bills, then that's a wonderful thing, because it is our only resource. It's our only recourse to get things on track. I know there's a lot of talk about fraud and all of that too, and that's very, very unnerving. But right now, it's all we have. So we have to use that system to fight evil, really,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just wondering too, like, I just find, I mean, it just seems so apparent. I don't know, like, I'm in Canada, so our government's a minority government.
Yeah.
And I'm just like baffled time and time again, the stuff he's pushing through and he's getting away with.
Yeah, I've heard
Because
over there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and like the opposition that's on his side, like I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like it just seems so apparent. It's like I'm done with them. I hope
Yeah.
it's like who's going to stand up to these guys,
Yeah.
right? Because it's just yeah, we need someone in power to step up to these
Yeah.
guys and push back and to I
Yeah.
don't know.
We
I don't
do.
know.
Here too. We need a true leader, is what we all
Yeah,
need right now, is a true leader. Yeah.
it's almost like I could almost picture like people getting pushed to the point where they want to storm the
Mm,
building, right?
yeah. We did that here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I could totally understand why they would have done that because people are just pushed to the limit. Like some people are just so pushed to the limit where they're just like so frustrated because they're not being heard. They're not,
Yeah.
they're not feeling like they're being represented, and that's how they resort to it. Like,
It's terrifying, though.
yeah,
It
it
really
is.
is,
It is.
because if we overthrow our government, then where are you? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can't go that route. You have to use the government to get what you want. Go to the government, call the government, vote, and vote in the locals way more than the presidentials. I don't know about Canada, but we have these local primaries where you do have a voice. You can go in, study these people, get to know them. What do they want?
Yeah.
Don't just check off a box because you want to see who the next president's going to be in the US. And that happens far too often here. So
Yeah.
that's a big problem for us. But it's like I said, it's the only thing we have. If you overthrow it, it's chaos and
Yeah.
not good for anybody, not good for either side to have the
Yeah.
government overthrown. But I
Yeah.
get it. I totally understand it. But it's terrifying because then there's no law. There's no
Mm.
leadership. Now we've dismantled the government, and that's a terrifying thing. And it is
Yeah.
coming to this. It
Yeah, it
is.
is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is like the way our bills are passed, it's voted by it goes through a voting system with the politicians and then the Senate.
Yeah,
And this is what's baffling is like it's like don't they see so it's like they're self-serving, like they're doing it for themselves. They're not
right. Yeah,
hearing us because there are Canadians that are flooding so
yeah,
the last couple of weeks people have been flooding. We have a governor general, and that's because she represents, because we're a Commonwealth country, we're connected to the monarchy. So
yeah,
the governor general is like works on behalf of the Queen of England. That's okay in simple forms. And it's like so
yeah,
Canadians have been flooding her office with emails and calls like to do something about our government. And
yeah.
so she replied saying she can't.
Oh, really?
So it's frustrating because like it's like the citizens are trying to make their voices heard with our government, and the government is like we keep like they're shut down. We're shut down time and time again.
Yeah,
So it feels like a lot of us are feeling like we're in a dictatorship. Like that's what it feels like. We feel like our power is being taken away more and more. So, anyways, that's
yeah. I feel you. Yeah, we
and
went
it's
through
like
this
yeah.
too. Yeah,
So it's like we're done. I think a lot of Canadians are done and fed up.
yeah,
And I mean, I don't know how this is all going to fold, but I mean, That's where the realization, I think, too, as Canadians are coming to, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, our government doesn't care about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway, it's
scary when you're feeling
depressing.
that way. But I do agree with you that it's coming to light now. These things, people
Yeah.
never really, these things have been going on for a very, very long time. It didn't
Yes,
just start recently.
that's right. Yeah.
It was just going on behind us, behind our backs. We didn't know. So now the world does know. That's why the world is standing up now and saying this is not right. So that's the beauty of it. And being in a 9 month too, and you saw the World Tarot card too, and that is all
Yeah.
about endings and a brand new. The World Tarot card is the last tarot card in the major arcana. So it's a true ending. It's a true accumulation of everything we've done now. And now we end that and we're on this new path. And now we go to the Fool again. Now we're taking that leap of faith into our new, um, now we have this new awareness, this new idea about what the government should do for us. The government was always this kind of third party, right? It didn't affect your life much. It didn't affect your daily life much. The government in the United States was originally of where the money went and
Hmm.
what programs got this money and how do we manage the Federal Reserve, right? And
Yeah.
then it just got into so many other things. It just seeped its way into society and the collective itself worldwide. It
Yeah.
just it just was like a seed, like you couldn't stop it. It just bled out almost, and everybody was like, you know, this has been going on all along, but it really has. So
Yeah.
don't
It
be
has.
afraid that this is some new movement.
Yeah.
It's really not. It's just come into the light now. There's
That's
always these
right.
light and dark battles,
There
right? So
you
this is
go.
just in the light right now. So don't
That's
don't
right.
be too afraid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it has been going for a long time, and it's just now, I think more people are aware.
Aware of it.
And
Right.
they're realizing, right? And people are becoming more involved. They're not being so complacent. And I mean, this could, it's always darkest before we see the light as well, right?
Yes, it's true. It's when the
So
rainbow comes out. Yeah.
so my hope in all this is like this will bring, I want to say, like, bring us to a point where we break down all these barriers, we break down what's been holding us back, and then it creates this bigger, better, brighter world.
That's right.
And this is the tough, like, this is the nitty gritty, this is tough. And that the
Yeah.
nine energy is not an easy energy.
No, it's
There's
not.
no sugar coating it, so
No.
it's one of the toughest numbers to go through.
Yeah.
It's heavy energy. It's hard to feel positive. It's hard to see the light, but it's like, we got to get through all this yucky stuff, is what I like to call it. You have to get through all the yucky stuff, and you're clearing it all this heaviness, so that you can become lighter and lighten, your energy, so that when you do so when we go into April, it's like we're lighter for it. We're more,
Yes.
it's like, okay, this isn't holding me back anymore. So yes, we can start this new thing. Or yes, it's, so it's what we are dropping is hard, and especially because you know, we're creatures of habit. So it's sometimes it's hard to put things down.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And let go. Sometimes it's hard to let go because it's like, well, this is all that we've known. This was our comfort level.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh my gosh, we got to let go of all this for for these new beginnings. So
Yeah.
let's be there for each other.
Yes. Let's truly do that and help
Hmm.
each other through these hard times because we
Yeah,
will get through it. Absolutely. Without the dark, there is no light, right? You
that's
you
right.
you can't have it's that duality. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, like, in the dark, I mean, like we said, the stars shine, the
right.
moon, you see the moon, you see, like, yeah. So we have
Yeah.
to look at it positively, or, like, try to, step up when we feel strong, step up for those that don't feel strong. And when, and it's going to go back and forth like that. Like, We all have our moments. There's moments where I feel like I'm at my weakest, and it's like when someone comes along that are in a, they're strong and they pull me up. That's great, and that's what we need to do for each other right now. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Especially through March, my worst
yeah.
month ever.
Oh,
I hate March. I always have. I call it the
yeah,
Ides of March, as you know. It
yeah, yeah.
just
I
seems like
know.
a time when all goes to hell for me. But I
I
put my
know.
head down, I get through it, it will pass.
I know. I know. And that could be where, like, people will want to go and hide, because that's,
Yeah,
the nine energy too is about, because it's the dark. It's like people might want to be in the dark about things because
yeah.
it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah,
So,
let me back in the
yeah.
Matrix. I was
Yeah.
happy there.
Where's my cave? Where's my blanket?
I don't want the red pill. I
Yeah.
just want to go back.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. I know
Hello,
I'm trying to,
Joanna.
yeah.
Yes,
Hi,
yes.
Joanna. Yes,
Beautiful
welcome.
Joanna. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
even
and I do
Jessica.
have to say, when I was doing the pull for March too with the tarot cards, I pulled the Four of Cups is in our baseline. So this card is, see how complacent we have been with those three cups. But this card usually always tells me that there's a gift from the universe coming to us. There's a fourth cup here being presented by God in this card for me. And it's a surprise. We don't see it coming either. It's something that we never expected. So we expect peaceful outcome, with the world and things like that. And this will come in like gangbusters, this fourth cup. And it's shocking and surprising, but exhilarating, and gives us all hope when we see this card too come up. So
That's nice.
um, I thought that was a beautiful card to come up for March too, because of the three cups being March, and then April being that fourth cup, and just bringing in those gifts that we so desperately need to see to keep us going and to keep us hopeful and strong. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
liked that,
Yeah, I do too. I do.
right? And the Six of Cups too, which is going
Oh,
back in time, which is looking through those old photos that my friend Sherry sent me, and remembering who we are and the bonds that we have created through life too. um, our whole lives. Sometimes there are people that have always been there for us too. So it's time to kind of go back in time and remember how we felt, and how we felt like a family, and how we felt like we belonged. It's been a while since we felt like we belonged, and that we were a part of something. It seems like everything's going on externally for us, and there's not much input that we have. So um, we're coming back into that. We're coming back into some really important times for us individually to come together as a collective, that you do belong. You have to find that family. It's not the traditional families, sometimes a lot of us, that we grew up with, and
yeah.
that was jarring. And just all of these things that just came to a accumulation of things with family and friends, right? We went through this kind of reset with all of that, and
hmm
truths were revealed about people that we have loved forever, that really shocked us or jarred us, and we didn't know that, because it's always been in the background, and
hmm
it never has been in the forefront like it has been lately with politics.
Yeah.
So just remember that, the core of people, the Russians we were talking about, they're people. They have
hmm
carved out this life for themselves the best that they could, and
hmm
there were things outside of their control that they had no say so over, like we have no say so over things that happen
Yeah.
politically.
Yeah.
So just remember that there is a whole world underneath these politics going on, and
Yeah.
people are communicating and coming together and loving and healing, and that's all happening. Don't get distracted by too much of the politics of it. Once you start looking like Christina, thank you so much for sharing what you've learned about these bills and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
horrifying to have these rights taken from us. But
Yeah.
really, really be mindful of what you're focusing on too, because that's a triggering thing for all of us when we're feeling like we're losing our rights. And
Yeah.
you can get sucked down this rabbit hole, right? And finding your proof, and finding your proof they're doing this, but it's happening, and it is happening. It is happening. But there's
Yeah.
so much more happening underneath the umbrella of politics in everyday lives. And
Yeah.
don't forget that,
Yeah.
there's more to life than these bills and these politics. And it's so important to know what's going on, so you can have your say so in it, and you can vote, and you can change things that way. You can change the world that way.
Yeah.
But just be mindful that we're individually going through these awakenings and enlightenments ourselves too, as we grow as humans. So
Yeah.
just be mindful and
Yeah.
focus majority of your day on what makes you feel good and what doesn't upset you and trigger you, and
Yeah.
because it's out there.
Yeah. I know. I know. I heard somebody share a comment because I was listening to a talk, and the lady said, the rabbit hole, because that when you were talking about that, that reminded me of it. So she said, yes, we could go down the rabbit holes,
Yeah. Okay.
but she says that's dark and depressing. And she says, we know it's there. We know those rabbit holes are there. But she says, I choose to look up because that's where the light is.
That's right. That's a
The
great
light's
one.
not
Yes.
the light's not in the rabbit hole, it's up above. So
That's
if we
right.
all start looking up and at the light instead of in searching, because it's like we know it's there,
Yeah.
but it's like, how is that serving us? So it's like, if we can focus on the light or above, and that
Yeah.
could make all the difference, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
about the law of attraction that way too. I love that Joanna said she got the
Mm,
nicest feeling of energy
mm,
from us.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
I feel it
Oh,
from you too,
thanks.
Joanna. I
That's
feel
great.
that from you, and that matters. I feel that. I feel uplifted from you. I feel you here with us, engaged with us, and listening to us. And so
Yeah.
it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Thank you, Joanna. That made my day,
Me
because this
too.
has been a hard chat. And I just also want to acknowledge Jessica Hughes, because she said she's got family and friends who are looking to leaving Canada. And I
Yeah.
get that, because
Yeah.
Julie knows this. I've been talking to her this past year about myself. I've been even contemplating, I'm not
You
happy
have.
being a Canadian anymore, living in Canada anymore.
That's right.
But then it's like, where do I go?
Yeah. It's my home. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to Julie's house.
That's all. I'm
I'll show
waiting for
up in
that.
your backyard. I'm here. Knock, knock.
Everybody come here. Everybody. Although I'm in the US, it's not too much better, but it's right now it is.
I know, I know. Oh my gosh, it's too
We
funny.
go up and down, don't we? Sometimes I need to go to Canada in the worst
Yeah,
way, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. So, anyways, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Um, I want to, yeah, so we touched about this. So, like, what is truth and true? That's another theme. And, we're peeling the layers. And so, and again, it's like, I think this is where we have to be there for each other,
Yes.
because it doesn't, I want to say again, I've said this before in the past, and I know you have too, Julie, where I really don't appreciate, especially people who, do all this rabbit hole research, or who say they're light workers and they say, wake up, people, you're not awake yet. You know
So
what?
woke. Yeah.
That you shut them down. And it's like, everyone has their reason for where they're at, or what they see in life. Because, sometimes it can be, we have to be more compassionate with that, because sometimes they
Yes.
might have this awareness. Like, I think I want to have this trust, like most people have this knowing, whether they acknowledge it or not, right?
Yes.
And it's like, it can just be too upsetting. It can be overwhelming. It can be daunting to, like, acknowledge, the government doesn't have our back. Like, for some
Of
people,
course.
they're at
Yeah.
that spot. And it's like,
Yeah.
so we have to, be there for them when they do, peel when the layers, or when they, realize a certain truth. And it's like, because it's a shock,
It
it's
is.
unsettling, it's
Yeah.
upsetting. And especially, and this is too, I heard this explanation, like, for some people it's like they feel stupid for
Yeah.
realizing something that maybe they weren't aware of before. And
Yeah.
nobody likes to feel stupid.
No. No, of course
I
not.
think, yeah, so I think, when it comes to truth and like all this awakening stuff and, people saying like, don't you know,
Yeah, you
like,
didn't know that?
you know what, there's some things that I don't know. And, like these bills, right? And Christina
Yeah,
taking the time to explain it. And it's like, does that mean that I'm stupid or you're stupid, Julie? Right? No, it just
right.
means that, we weren't paying attention to that, or we weren't looking at that truth for whatever reasons, right? And like to hear
Yeah,
that, like for me to read that, it's like that's unsettling to me. Like I don't like that, it
yeah,
is.
right.
So yeah, so it's like, it's very, I just find the way Christina, shared that, it was very compassionate. She was very
Very.
kind. And
Yeah.
yeah. See, Joanna, yeah, I don't believe in the word stupid
I
either.
don't
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
We said
yeah,
that growing up with our kids. They weren't allowed to say stupid. So
yeah, yeah,
that,
yeah. You know what you know,
yeah,
right? and
yes,
and you do the best that you can with what you know,
yeah.
right? And yeah,
Well,
so
there's no one that's stupid. It's just
yeah,
ignorance that you just don't know that yet. You know what
yeah,
I mean? There's I've said it before on here a million times. No one has access to information that you don't have access to. There's
yeah,
no, especially when it comes to spirituality
yeah,
and them making you feel inferior that you're just not getting it or you're not in the
yeah,
5D like I am, the stupid
yeah,
5D crap. But
yeah,
it has nothing to do with being smart or stupid, but that's
no,
an easy out, right? Oh, you're
yeah,
just
it is.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so we just need to like, start dispelling those, myths or belief systems, that's part of this, process this month. And
Yeah.
come together. It's a healing month. Like this is a healing journey. The 9 is about
Yeah.
healing. And
That's
to
right.
heal, that means you've got to heal those yucky parts, the darker parts, the
That's right.
unpleasant parts. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Acceptance, I
Yeah.
think that's where the acceptance comes
Yeah.
in. It is what it is. And
Yeah.
now what, right?
Yeah. So the last thing before we move on to the spirit animal and the tarot card is I heard sacred, and then when sacred came out as a theme, so sacred, is like, what you hold sacred,
Yeah.
in here. Sacred too is like what you protect. Um, I, when that came out, all of a sudden I heard sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
And I know with some French people, like that's a bad word, like it's not a swear word like some, but its connotation is, as a swear word in the French language, like sacre bleu. And but I want to say, in a way, it's kind of like, it comes like, yeah, it's making us laugh, right? And
Yeah.
it's, so I feel like, um, maybe with Sacre Bleu, it's like, oh my goodness, right? Or
You
I think
go.
it kind of, makes it a little lighter
I think
in
so.
a
I
way,
all I know
in
is
a way.
Michael has been saying that to make me laugh since I was
Oh,
19 years old. For some reason, Tina, you pulled that out of the blue today, but that's why I'm laughing so hard because when anything has gone wrong in our lives, Michael says, "Suck me blue," real loud.
oh,
He belts it. Oh, see, the
and
dogs heard
the
me.
dogs
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, yeah. Woo, woo,
That's
woo.
my
Yeah,
goofy husband for you, though.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I don't know what it means. I've just heard it my entire life.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's hard to translate in English, but it's about like, oh my gosh, or my goodness,
Mm,
uh, or like, for God's sakes, like that kind of thing. And it's considered swear because it's like, you're talking about God, like but it's not,
mm.
I don't want to say it's
Yeah.
not a bad swear
Yeah.
word,
You're
but
taking
yeah,
God's name in vain type thing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyways,
Hello, RJ. Look at giving compliments to your bear print behind you. I love
thank
it
you.
too. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, we do need the bear. So I guess then we'll talk about, that's a good lead into the spirit animal for
Yes. Let's
March.
talk about it. Yes.
And it's the meerkat
The meerkat.
from
It's a good one.
yeah. And like when I look at that, it's like they're so cute every
Yeah.
time I see one. And I know there's a, I think there's a show, the Meerkats, like don't they, there's a show about where they do, I think it's maybe National Geographic or one of those kind of programs, and they filmed these meerkat family for years, and then they put, you know, they made a show out of that. Like it's like,
Oh,
yeah. And I used to watch it. I don't, because I don't have cable. I haven't had cable for a few years now. But I mean, every time I saw that show, I was like, I want to go up there and hug them. I want to cuddle
they are
one because they're
adorable.
just so cute.
They are. They're
So
adorable the way they stand. Like I
yeah,
used to call Kyla my little, remember Kyla was my little meerkat because she would always stand with her paws like this.
yeah.
She
So
was
that's,
adorable.
yeah. So one of the main things, like, yeah, that's how they, a lot of people, when they think of a meerkat, they see them like, you know, standing up like this, and they're
Yeah.
like
Looking
on alert.
around.
So I want to say, like, that's a big influence for us. So
Yeah.
it's like, this is, yeah, this is a month where, like, you know, some people are going to be on guard. Like, you know, what's
Yeah.
next? Like, as if they're waiting for something to come and they want to be protective.
Yeah.
Also, like, you know, what's coming our way.
Yeah.
And like almost like, you know, on guard, like as if like, yeah, looking for danger. Yeah, that's a good one, Joanna. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Um, and it's also too about, I want to say, like, what needs to be completed before making the next move, because it's almost like you're looking at the horizon, like, you know,
Yeah.
what's
What's
before
ahead?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
um yeah, so on guard, when I looked up, you know, some of the themes for meerkat, so I recommend this for everyone who's listening to this, like, Google the spiritual meaning of the meerkat, but also the scientific meaning, because
Yeah.
they will both play in. But so some of the themes, they said it was like about systems, because they have a system. They work and they support one another, and
That's right.
they're about
Group.
networking, and they
Yeah.
live underground. So there's times where we might find like things are below the surface, and then um, you know, or we might feel like we need to go under the surface for a little bit before
Yeah.
we come back out.
Yeah. I like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Family bonds, close friendships, protection,
Yeah.
survival, being adaptable, because they say they're one of the most adaptable animals on the planet
Yeah.
because of the conditions that they live in.
Yeah.
Um, and they don't take the heat. So they will go, because they live in a lot of them are in Africa, and you know, um, the weather, like, you know, can be really extremely hot. So they live underground. So during the heat of the day, they'll go underground because it's cooler. So it's like, okay, if you can't take the heat, this could be like, sometimes it's not being a coward if you don't, you know, jump
Right.
into the fire. Sometimes it's about, yeah, you do have to go underground or step away. And that could be just like to collect yourself and to maybe
Yeah.
figure things out before you make that next move, or before you say what you're going to say. That could be a way of looking at that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they rely on each other for that protection, and that
Yeah.
their unity is what the spirit meaning I was reading about too, is unity
Hmm.
coming together for group efforts, you know. And
Yeah,
it's not one mercat can't do it, you know. They have
that's
to
right.
they have
Yeah.
to use those bonds. So
Yeah.
I
And they
like
work in
that.
groups. Like they said, like, you know, they can be as big as 25 in a
Yeah.
family, which is
Wow.
like, wow. Yeah. And that's not easy to do, right? Like if you look at
Right.
your own life and your own family, like how many of us can work with 25 family members at once? All the time, every time, right? It's like, I don't think so,
Right. Talk
right?
about hiding underground. Where's Julie?
Which tunnel is she at? Let's go find
Right.
her. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Right. So yeah, big, a lot of differences coming together to get the project done, right?
yeah,
To put that
yeah,
aside and to get the job done. So I like that.
yeah, yeah. And then they're known for the they've got a mask. That was the other thing they pointed out, because on
Yeah.
around their eyes it's darker, like a raccoon.
Yeah.
So they said that's for their that's a biology, like that's a nature protection because it helps them from the glare of the sun or the
Mm.
brightness, because when they are out, you know, standing guard, like it helps them see the horizon, see what's around them, because the sun won't, you know, rays won't get in the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a little
So I
easier.
want to say, like, you know, yeah, put on protection, like, you know, make sure you protect yourself. And if that could be like, whether it's literal, like, you know, wear your sunglasses or wear sunscreen, or because I mean, I don't know, like it's winter where I'm at, so it's like the sun's not so
Yeah.
bright. But I mean, it could also be spiritual protection,
Right.
you know?
I'm laughing at Joanna wishing Putin was a meerkat.
Mm.
All right, let's just all focus together on Putin
Yeah,
being a meerkat.
yeah,
We can do this.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, it could explain, like, you know, what's, you know, is he the lead, like he's the leader
Yeah,
of
he
all
is.
this, right?
Yes, he is
And
the
then
instigator.
who's all supporting him, like, you know, protecting him and on guard with him, right?
Yeah, there's other
So,
countries, yeah,
mhm.
right, for sure.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything else about the meerkat?
Um, No, I don't think so. I think March is a perfect month for the meerkat, though. I do love the unity of it. I love the undergroundness because it made me think of when I was talking about politics and all of that being kind of an umbrella over all of us. And then
Yeah.
if we're underneath as meerkats, just working together and coming together
Yeah.
and unity, I
Yeah.
love that. So
Yeah.
I'm sticking with
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. I do too. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe go watch meerkat videos. It'll cheer
yeah,
you up.
that'll make you laugh.
Yeah. They're so cute. All
Yeah.
right. So now the tarot card.
The tarot card. So you saw the world.
I saw the world.
We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
This is endings. This is there's always a pause after the world card to gather what you've learned. The
Mm.
tarot card is about the courant on a journey. And then it starts with the fool and it ends with the world card. And then you do it again. So you keep continuously on this fool's journey through the tarot. The major arcanas are the major life events, and the minors are the daily, events. So I
Okay.
love the thought of the world card and having all of this angst come to an end, and now we're all just kind of taking a pause in March, right? We're just kind of like, okay, well, this happened and that happened and this happened. Okay, it's part of the acceptance of it then, and then we can move on. Then now we can move forward because now we see
Hmm.
it's been revealed. So now we can step into that. It's scary. We don't know what's ahead of us. It's a leap of faith, the fool, the next card in line here. So that's always scary and unsettling because we don't know. But
Hmm.
we're taking that leap of faith, that all will be well and continuing on our journey. So we're using the bonds of the past to do that. We're using those feelings and emotions and of security. I think the nine always makes us feel extremely insecure
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
unsettled, right? Like we're on just this shaky foundation that we can't get our footing on.
Yeah.
And so the world comes in, and we use now the world has come in and ended this kind of tyranny in our thoughts and our thought process. And so now we have everything new, and these new things are coming to us, new projects, new ideas, new creativity is sparking within us now because we're looking for new now. Now I'm tired of that. I'm tired of being worried about that. So now I'm
Hmm.
going to move on to something new, so that's where we're using those meerkat bonds, those familial bonds to help us to take that step into the unknown. So I love that about it.
Hmm.
um, and then you were kind of seeing the Empress. I had to show her
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she's so very healing, the Empress. She's got the whole world there. She's pregnant with the creativity and new ideas and magical ideas too. It's time. We're coming into an age of a lot more magic, which is wonderful.
Yeah. And I
So I love
really,
that.
yeah, I just, sorry, didn't mean to
No,
interrupt. Are
no.
you okay? Because with the world, like I kept hearing it, but it's
Mhm.
like I could see like the whole planet like comes into focus right now this
Yeah.
month. And
what
it's
you
like,
were
what
saying.
tarot card is that, right? And that's
Yeah.
why the Empress. And I feel like, it's becoming more and more apparent that it's going to be feminine energy and the women
Yes. Absolutely.
who who are going to heal the collective, are going to heal the state of the world.
That's right. It's our time.
Yeah. So it's because the men, I'm sorry, and I shouldn't say all men, because not
Yeah.
all men are that way, but
That's right.
the men in power, because it's mostly men in power in the
Yeah.
world governments and in a lot of
Yes.
these corporations.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they're sucking.
Yeah.
Like they are just, it's becoming apparent, like
Yeah.
they're not,
Right.
they can't be in power anymore. Sorry. No way. No way,
Right.
Jose.
No, it is the time for women, for feminine energy. It's a
Feminine
time for
energy.
feminine energy. The masculine energy has had control for far too long, and that includes
Yeah.
men and women who are masculine
Yes.
energies.
That's right.
So it's the
Yeah,
energy
because
of the feminine coming in
that's
strong.
right. And that's what we
Yeah,
have to stress out, because there are some men out there that are, in their feminine power or energy, and they
that's right.
believe in the women and the women's, wanting to, like that side, like that feminine energy. So yeah, so we have
Yeah,
to, not all men are bad or that
right.
way, but I want to say, like, yeah,
Yeah, it's time, though. It's
yeah,
very exciting.
yeah,
Should be men and women in power.
yeah,
Absolutely, Joanna. Right?
yeah,
That's a given. Like, when is that coming? For soon. Soon, though, the feminine energy is coming in, though. It is going to
hmm,
wash over the world and heal. It really is, because the world is broken. And from this
yeah,
masculine energy, this greed really was the number one killer of humanity, right? So
yeah,
the feminine energy is just going to come in and kind of soothe that greed, soothe
yeah,
what's important to us and what matters, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
wonderful. Yeah,
yeah. And I kind of want to say, like, the mature woman too.
yeah, yeah.
Because, like, the nine, I'm going to go back to the number. So the number nine is about maturity and, like, the old, anything old. So
Yeah,
that can even be old people, but like everyone defines old differently.
yeah,
Because if you ask a 5-year-old, they'll think someone who's 20 is old.
right. Yeah.
And then
My
if you
my
ask,
bars come way down of what old is.
I know, and as you age, older gets higher, like
Yeah,
the age,
higher.
like
Yes.
pushing. Yeah. I'm not old when I'm 50,
Right.
So, and then if you ask a 60-year-old, like, they're not going to say they're old, or they don't want to.
60. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to
So
say
they might,
90. Yeah.
yeah, or 100, right? So,
Or 100. Yeah.
yeah, so I want to say, like, it's going to be about wisdom and maturity and the
Yeah.
mature, energies and the wise energies. It's time for that to come in, and I think that's what people are looking for, like, who are the wise ones?
Yeah.
Where's the wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. The old
it's,
medicine.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what maybe as a collective we should start,
Yeah.
looking at. It's almost like I could see, like, the planet, and then who's holding the planet? This wise woman with her long silver hair. And
Love
she's
it.
naked, and she's naked behind the planet. But you don't see her nakedness.
Wow.
But
She's
she's
vulnerable.
naked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's vulnerable, but she's holding the planet, and it's like it's getting too heavy. It's like she's ready for
She's ready.
people
She's ready to
to
give birth.
start. Yeah. And it's like, come on, people, let's,
Yeah.
you have the wisdom. Let's start using it.
Yes. I
Let's
love
start
that,
sharing
Tina.
it. Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Is that
ready.
a positive? That's a positive ending to this forecast, isn't it?
Yes. Love it.
Oh my gosh. It's felt so heavy, this show. I'm going to admit.
Yeah, I think well, there's war
I
going
want,
on. I mean, it's a
oh,
heavy energy right now. So we've
yeah.
got to just smudge that away and breathe it out, because we don't have any control over it. So we
Yeah.
can only change our thoughts about it, and find peace within ourselves. That's where it starts.
Yeah. 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 So we have to heal the war within ourselves to
That's right.
heal any war, outside wars. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's where
Oh,
the wisdom
people.
comes from.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Did you have anything more to add, Miss Julie?
No, I think it went really well considering,
Mm.
we're never prepared.
Yes. No, and for those, so the replay will be available on the Facebook page, Enlighten Energy, and it'll also be on the YouTube channel, Enlighten Energy, and then I'll have the written forecast posted, hopefully by tonight.
Right? We'll be waiting.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to read it, it'll be more detailed. Yeah, and just reach out to me if you want me to send it to you. I'd be happy to.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
whether it's the
Positive
video.
changes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
positive changes. Yeah,
Joanna,
we
you've
have
been
to.
so lovely today. Thank you
Yeah,
so, so much. And helping to uplift the collective with us, all of you who are
yeah.
watching and assisting with this.
And
We're needed. Yeah.
yes, and I just want to share something because every time Joanna pops up, I keep seeing a horse with Joanna.
Ooh, really?
So Joanna, I'm just giving you that little. You must need to receive that. The horse shows up
The
with you, Joanna. So
horse
I don't know if you work with
strength.
horses, you want a horse, you have a horse, or like, it's part of your totem for some reason, or it's
Oh,
trying to show through
maybe.
for you, Joanna. So yeah.
Wonderful. I love that. I love the
Yeah.
horse.
Yeah. So we're going to be here next Monday, right?
Yes, we will be here.
We haven't decided the subject yet. And I
No.
think, oh no, maybe it's not next week. I know for me, because I'm going to be changing the clocks. Like in my area, we change but I don't know if it's next week or the week after. I know
Oh,
it's coming up. So
okay.
if anybody, just be aware of that. If you find like the time has changed, it's like, well, because we've changed the clocks, right? And
Okay.
Julie
This day.
doesn't where
No.
she lives. Lucky duck.
I
That's
know.
another
It's so
reason
much
why
easier.
to show up in your backyard.
Yeah, right. I can't wait. Bring it on.
We'll come on our horses.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Sherry. And thank you so much for making my whole morning with those pictures. I love
Mm,
you so very much.
mhm.
Yes. Thank you for being
Yeah.
here.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing and engaging in
Yes.
the conversation. And if you weren't, if you're just watching, thank you.
Yeah.
And please feel free to comment afterwards and also to share this video. If you want to share this with your groups or your friends or family, please do. We welcome that as well. Mhm. We're
Absolutely.
here to support and to enlighten everyone, even if it's not always easy to hear.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Hmm. All right. So be well, everyone. Stay safe. I'm just going to take a breath here, and I'm just like sending everyone love, 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 and more love. Okay.
Okay.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
Thanks, Julie. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Tina. Bye.
Yeah.